Good morning. It's Thursday morning, and we're here at the bridge for a future focus. And I want to share a story that I shared last night in our Bible study group, but with a different, I want to make a different point. I yesterday went into the dentist office to have a small filling. And while I was waiting for the Novocaine to kick in, I heard a man come into one of the other rooms speaking to a different dentist. Dentist asked him, so what can I do for you today? And he said, well, I chipped my tooth. What are my options? And the dentist said, well, option one is that you do nothing. You just, if it isn't hurting you now, it might not hurt you for a while, but eventually it will. He said, what's option number two? Well, option number two is that we fill it with porcelain. He said the problem with that is that there'll be more porcelain than tooth, and eventually it will separate. What's option number three? He said, well, option number three is kind of the gold standard, and that is that we put a crown on top of the tooth and make it look the way it used to look. That's the gold standard. That's what we recommend. We have those same three options when it comes to the days after Easter. Easter is kind of the high point of the Christian year. It is God's gold standard for faith. It is the basis of our faith. But after Easter comes and goes, we have three options. We can do nothing. We can go on with our lives as though Easter never happened and the resurrection never happened. Option number two is that we can kind of live in the power of the resurrection. We can fill our lives with the things of God. But option number three is that we can live or strive to live every single day in the power of Jesus' resurrection. And that, of course, is God's gold standard. Do you know that Jesus, after he rose from the dead, did not ascend to his Father? At least not immediately. He did, but it was 40 days before he ascended to his Father. And it's a little bit of a mystery to us what he did during those 40 days, but we do have this from the book of Acts. The book of Acts was written by Luke, as was the Gospel of Luke. And at the beginning of the book of Acts, Luke, writing to a man named Theophilus, says that, he says, Theophilus, in the first book I wrote all that Jesus began to do and teach until the day he was taken up, after he'd given instructions to his apostles. And he appeared to them over 40 days speaking about the kingdom of God. And so there was a 40-day period during which Jesus spoke to his disciples about the kingdom of God before he left the earth and ascended to his Father. Now, why did he do that? Why did he hang around for 40 days? Because he knew that in our lives, after the big days in our lives, there are those days where we feel let down. Easter, Christmas. But we do have those big days in our lives that are great. Births and marriages and birthdays and anniversaries. But we have to live through all of those other days in between. And God knew that. Jesus knew that. And so he spent time with his disciples teaching them about the kingdom of God and what it means to live through all of those other days in the power of the resurrection. So for the next 40 days, the next 4 or 5 Thursdays, we're going to focus on the kingdom of God and what it means to live in the power of the resurrection through all of those other days in our lives. Should be fun. That's our future focus today. Have a wonderful Thursday. Enjoy the music. And just a note, I will not be with you on Friday, but Jerry Vincent, who is the director, the president of Family Builders and a pastor in South Berwick, will be with us. So I hope you'll be there and enjoy hearing about the ministry of Family Builders. And we'll see you soon. God bless.